Hey guys, Limelight here, back for another video. And, because it's a Halloween video, I decided to do something spooky. So I brought out some of my last remaining preteen angst and became a vampire for Halloween. For the record, I do not say blah blah blah. And so I'm like, oh, what kind of thing could I do for Halloween? Then I remembered, um, I had a possible theory I could talk about. I mean, it's kind of spooky. I got all my stuff on a clipboard chart here, so let's go through it. I'm going to be mainly focusing on the classic timeline too, because I know that a lot better than the modern timeline. So obviously, my theory involves, as you've seen in the title, the fact that Dr. Eggman or Robotnik, I'm just going to be using them interchangeably without thinking, either Dr. Eggman and Robotnik are possibly robots the entire time. So first I'm going to start with a big convoluted thing, like all the terrible online recipes on how I got this idea. So I was just watching a Cybershell playthrough and I got the epiphany. Just kidding, I'm not going to go any further. Yeah, I just randomly thought, oh, what if he was a robot because he dies all these times. And so, yeah. So here's my evidence. So I mean, like, we all know Eggman can make some pretty powerful robots. You know, he's made the Egg Robos. They can do things like, as we see in Sonic 3 and Knuckles' Knuckles route, they can drive the Egg Mobile. He can also drive the boss machines that Eggman makes for himself. You know, we see all this stuff in the in Knuckles route in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And, you know, obviously they look like Robotnik. So, I mean, they also can, you know, move fast as we see them flying away from the Death Egg in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And so, you know, obviously, they got a lot of abilities similar to Eggman. Because, as we all know, Eggman can run fast and stuff. Because reasons. That's some of the stuff that the Egg Robos could possibly do to, you know, possibly pass off as Eggman. They have all those abilities. They can, maybe like replicate them because of all their abilities. And then, you know, there's some weird things that Eggman has done that makes me think, this guy is probably not human. I mean, obviously the most obvious one is, outrunning Sonic. I mean, there are other theories about how Eggman might be able to run fast. Like, obviously mine is that he's a robot, but he may have robotic legs, or he uses one of them speed booster things that Sonic gets from the monitor sometimes. I mean, there's plenty of things he could do. Sonic could purposefully be slowing down as to not hurt Eggman because he's a good person. You know, Eggman, you know, he outruns Sonic. And then I have another thing from Sonic Chaos, when you're chasing him into like the final ending, after you defeat the final boss, you're chasing him, and you know, he's outrunning you, and then he jumps onto a really high platform. It's kind of weird. I mean, no one can jump like 3 times their height. And also, a final thing I have that's kind of questionable about Eggman is that he can take a real beating from Sonic. Like, in some of his boss fights, you can hit him on the top of his creation, which involves him. And so, you know, obviously he can somehow resist all the hedgehog spikes. They're like, well, I mean, hedgehog spikes don't hurt me, but as you've probably seen, you know, those spikes do a lot against Robotnik's metal machines. They even could destroy the Egg Robos in just one hit. So, I mean, possibly whatever Egg Robo or whatever is more armored than the standard Egg Robos in order to be the head Eggman at the time. So obviously I'm just spouting a bunch of random evidence. So yeah, he takes beatings from Sonic, you know, and is just kind of suspicious, you know. Sonic can bust through metal, but not through Eggman. Final questionable act of Eggman is that he keeps coming back to life. You know, it's kind of suspicious. And although he doesn't necessarily directly die. It's kind of implied that he does. Because, I mean, in Sonic 1, we don't have a good case there, because he just slowly drifts down. But Sonic 2, he's in the Death Egg as it explodes and falls down. But you could make a case that it falls onto Angel Island, and it's said that Angel Island falls from the sky because the Death Egg falls on it. So the Angel Island could work as like suspension, sort of, to slow the fall near the end, because of course it's the landing that hurts you, not the fall itself. And the landing could just be slowed by Angel Island. So perhaps that could have saved him. Plus he was in the Death Egg, and it's probably a lot safer in the Death Egg than a free fall. And in Sonic CD, though, we clearly see him explode into smithereens. Although it is possible that you could make the case that he escaped in the smoke, shaped like his face. But, yeah, in Sonic 3, I'm pretty sure he just, falls in his little creation as he normally does, so that's not fatal. But at the end of Sonic and Knuckles, at the end of the Doomsday Zone, he once again falls, like, from space or whatever. Low Earth orbit is what I wrote down, although I don't have any evidence for that. But I mean, you can see Earth or Mobius or whatever in the background, so. And he didn't have a Death Egg to protect him, but perhaps like the super suit thing he was in would cause him to be safer. But it looked like it was falling apart because he dropped the Master Emerald. I mean, maybe he could have been in free fall for all we know. But I mean, yeah. And in Knuckles' route, we only see him for that one boss fight, so we don't know his fate during that. And then in Sonic Mania, he's inside the exploding base that he has on Little Planet. Or at least that's how I interpreted the ending cutscene. Maybe Little Planet just disappeared. I'm pretty sure he's on Little Planet as it disappears. So we're not quite sure his fate. He's just inside of an exploding base. Also, he's like in some sort of timeless Phantom Ruby zone or whatever. I'm not quite sure the semantics on all that, but even if he died or not, Sonic Mania is probably the last game in the classic timeline, because modern classic timelines got messed up or something by Generations. Speaking of Generations, we see that classic Robotnik gets stuck in the little void with no time, as well as modern Robotnik. So I mean, how did they get out for the next games? And I mean, it is shown in Sonic Forces that Sonic Forces happens after Sonic Generations, so I don't know, man. How did they get out? Good question. So I mean, there's probably a good case there, and with Sonic Generations. And also, we got some bonus things. These following games are not quite canon, I don't think. So these aren't really good evidence, but just shows, I guess, just to, use fake evidence to accentuate my point. So obviously, in Sonic Spinball, he falls from very high up, like in space, basically. But he does land in his Vego Fortress, which maybe that could save him. And in Sonic 3D Blast, he's presumably stuck in interdimensional travel, because that's where the secret final boss takes place. But perhaps he escaped in a portal, like Sonic did. And then, just because I'm joking around, in Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, he just yells in surprise when you win, but obviously that won't hurt him or anything. In Sonic Triple Trouble, he falls into a pit, but that could be any depth, so he could be fine in there. But yeah, we have all those examples of Eggman likely dying, except for, of course, some of the 8-bit games, or Mean Bean Machine, or Knuckles Route, or whatever. But, how does he keep coming back? I mean, granted, this is very indirect evidence, but, the egg robos can do all the stuff that Eggman does. Eggman can do things that are non-human. So, using a little bit of logic stretching, we can get the conclusion that Dr. Eggman is indeed a robot. So, I hope you like this video. Comment your thoughts if you have any evidence or counter arguments, or if you agree. I don't know, any response is good, because I kind of low-key want views, and obviously any responses, even I think a dislike, would possibly get me into the algorithm a bit more. But that's enough about this video. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned something. Have fun trying to awkwardly explain it to your friends, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye!